This video is entitled Change and goes along with Chapter 9 of our textbook in the Project Management for Technology course. My name is James Reneau Ph.D., and I'm a professor at Shawnee State University. I'll be taking you through this presentation on change in a project. In this video, we're going to talk about the change control process. We're going to talk about validating change and quality control within changes. We're going to talk about the types of common project changes you will see and also organizational changes that can cause project changes. The change control process. Everything changes. Every project will have changes. Life has changes. Things change. So we need to be sure that we can control these changes so that they don't affect other parts of our project negatively. Um, the first thing we need to do in a formal change control process is to identify and document the change. Somebody requests a change or a change needs to happen, put it in the change control log it, write it down, identify it, document it. Evaluate the impact and justify the change. Why? What are the costs? What are the benefits? What does it add to the value of the final product? And what are the risks? Because with every change, there are probably also risks. What could this change potentially affect other work packages? Could this change impact other work packages? Could it negatively impact delivery date, cost, all kinds of things? So, what are the risks? And we need to also potentially, for some changes, have what's called a regression plan, where we plan how to undo the change if the change is really detrimental. Once we've identified and documented, evaluated the impact, and can justify the change, we need to figure out who is going to approve the change, who gives us authority to allocate additional resources, change the work breakdown, change schedule, change the cost, all of those kinds of things. And then we have to obtain that approval. We can't make a change willy-nilly. We can't make a change without having approval, without having it covered, without having somebody responsible, without having our stakeholders, our shareholders, our sponsors, our team members all fully aware. And there could even be in your organization within its PMI project management organization or project management office, PMO project management office, there could be a group called the Change Control Board. Maybe your project is big enough that it would have its own change control board. So once you've obtained approval, then implement the change, validate the change. Did it work? Yes or no? Did it do what you expected it to do? Good or bad? And then update the project plan. And through this whole process, be sure to communicate the change to everybody this change can affect. So your control process is to identify, evaluate, get approval, implement, validate, communicate the change at all times. So why are there changes? Well, the sponsor may tell you we need to change some money, we need to change timeline, we need to change. The stakeholders may say, you know what, we really need the project to do this also, or we don't need that anymore. The team members, as they're completing parts of the project, will say, this isn't right. We didn't specify this right initially. We need to change this. Or maybe there's a new piece of hardware that's coming out, or maybe something has been discontinued. I mean, you never know. Maybe your customers, your final users of the product, want something different. Maybe your vendors will even trigger a change by saying, well, we can't deliver the product we said we would, but we're going to deliver this. It's similar, it's close, it's almost the same, it's the new version. But how does that impact the rest of your project? So these changes can come from just about anywhere and just about anybody involved in the project. Changes happen to the timeline. We need it now. We need it yesterday. We need it we or the timeline might say, well, where none of us are working from the office, we're all working from home. We really don't need that finished for, never know. Um, Maybe changes happen to funding. We've got more money. Not very likely. We need to save money. Maybe risks have happened. Maybe one of your positive things you were hoping would happen happened, or maybe one of the negative things you were hoping wouldn't happen happened. Maybe the customer's requirements are changing. Um, Maybe there's a quality issue that you need to look at. Maybe you need to address quality. Maybe you've got a resource issue. That key employee that was making the project work so well just got reassigned or left the company or did something else. And maybe your stakeholder, sponsor, customer has come along and said, why don't we just add this to the project? We really need it. It fits. Well, that's a change and it's going to affect the entire project. Changes can also happen because they're corrective actions. We're looking along, we're working on the project, things are moving along beautifully, but eh, I see an error, I see a mistake, I see something we've got to fix. I see preventative actions. It's like, well, if we make this change, we're going to eliminate these risks. We can prevent these problems. Well, of course, you're going to do that. Um, Maybe they're defect repairs. You're moving along through the project and you look back and say, well, there is that error back there. We need to fix that defect before we can go any further, even though that had already been signed off on, approved, and that work package had already been successfully closed. Always, though, keep in mind the triple constraints of money, time, and quality. And usually I see them drawn as a triangle with money and time and quality either being the three nodes of the triangle or the three legs of the triangle. Because if we adjust the money, we increase the money, decrease the money, it's going to affect the time and the quality of the project. Less money, more time. Less time, more money. Less time, no more money. We're going to lose quality, aren't we? So, whatever we push on in the triangle, it's going to affect the other two legs of the triangle to keep things in a steady state. So, always remember the triple constraints of money, time, and quality when you're looking at a change order. Good change control can clearly be said to be organized. It's documented, it's communicated. If you're good at change control and you're managing the changes and you're communicating the changes and you're documenting the changes, you're not creating chaos in the project. If you're doing bad change control and changes are happening willy nilly and they're not being communicated, organized, documented, you're going to be creating all kinds of huge impacts on the project and creating chaos in everyone's life. Don't do that. Be organized, be documented, and communicate your changes. That way, the chaos is reduced and everybody gets it done that much easier. We talked about impacts from inside the project. Remember also there are impacts from outside the project that can cause a project to change. For instance, a merger or acquisition. Your company just bought the competitor. Is that going to change the resources? Is that going to change the money? Is that going to change timelines? Is that going to change maybe even the whole product? Possibly. A demerger or a split, which is the opposite of an acquisition merger, where a company gets broken up into multiple pieces. What happens when you have a resource you're using and you split the company into two companies or two divisions, and that resource goes to the other division? Business process changes. Maybe your company implements a new piece of software or a new process of some sort. Is that going to affect your project? Very well could. Internal reorganizations. You know, this employee just got promoted to senior VP. Uh-oh. Now they're going to be doing senior management things and aren't going to be able to do the frontline management or the other work they were doing. So reorganizational changes, relocation, relocation, and not just physical relocation, but maybe we're relocating some of our employees to the cloud. Maybe we're sending them home to work. Maybe so those are changes. And then the idea of outsourcing and insourcing changes also can affect your project. Maybe your corporation, your organization has decided to outsource PC support. Well, does that affect your project? It might very well. Or maybe your organization has decided we've had enough of that outsourcing crap. We're bringing it in. That could very well affect your project too. So remember, there are forces both inside and outside your project that are going to cause change. Change happens, change is inevitable. You got to learn to roll with it or it'll kill you. This video follows along with Kim Heldman's CompTIA Project Plus study exam guide, dated 2017 from John Wiley and Sons, and there's a reference to that book. This video presentation is copyright 2020 by James Reneau Ph.D. You can contact me at jreneau@shawnee.edu if you have any questions, concerns, or if there are any errors in this presentation. This work is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial Share Alike 4.0 International License, and I would like to say thank you for watching.